The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
On behalf of RBCS, RBCS New Zealand, RBCS Australia, and Software Test Works, we welcome everyone today to this webinar on achieving realistic, truthful, actionable schedules. I'm Rex Black, President of RBCS, a worldwide testing and quality assurance firm serving clients ranging from small startups to Fortune 20 global enterprises. Since 1994, RBCS has been both a pioneer and leader in quality hardware and software testing. RBCS has offices in the United States, New Zealand, Australia, and Sri Lanka with partners around the world. RBCS delivers insight and confidence to our clients, helping them get quality software and hardware products to market on time and with measurable return on investment. RBCS has a team of international consultants that deliver customized training, consulting, and outsourcing services for companies that are looking to improve their testing and quality assurance practices. We have helped hundreds of companies reduce development and support costs while assuring the best quality products are delivered to customers. I'm the author of Pragmatic Software Testing, Advanced Software Testing Volumes 1 and 2, Foundations of Software Testing, and Critical Testing Processes, and Managing the Testing Process. I hold a degree in Computer Science and Engineering from UCLA. I'm also past president of the International Software Testing Qualifications Board and the American Software Testing Qualifications Board. Before we start the presentation, a couple housekeeping notes. If you have any questions during the course of the webinar, feel free to submit them throughout the presentation via the webinar interface. There is no need to ask for presentation copies, as the presentation is posted on the web at www.rbcs-us.com. If you're having problems with the audio or visual components of the webinar, contact GoToWebinar support. If for whatever reason you cannot get to the webinar online, or if you're having a problem with an unreliable connection, download the slides from the basic library at www.rbcs-us.com and be sure to use the telephone to connect rather than voice over IP. Please note that the January webinars have been rescheduled slightly due to some conflicts. The times stayed the same, but the days moved around a bit. If you signed up prior to the rescheduling, which happened last month, you should have received an email update from GoToWebinar, and if you sign up after the change, which would be now or any time in the last couple of weeks, you would see the right date when you did sign up. A final note here, I am coming to you live today from Pronto Software in Melbourne, Australia. Pronto Software is one of the top privately owned enterprise resource planning software companies in Australia. They produce a wide range of integrated products, including financials, supply chain, facilities management, and manufacturing software for medium to large-sized enterprises. They have over 1,200 customers worldwide in regions including Australia, New Zealand, Asia, Europe, and North America. Pronto is a company that recognizes the value of QA, and in recent years they have invested heavily in evolving their QA and testing processes. They are proud to say that all of their testers are ISTQB certified. As a benefit to hosting the webinar, Pronto folks in the room here will get to ask questions first. We've got an audience of 12 people, roughly? About 12 people. So you might hear a little bit of background sound, and that's the live audience reacting to the presentation, hopefully positively. Let's see. Presentation around here. There we go. Good. Okay. So today's presentation is about estimation, putting together a realistic, actionable schedule. In the last webinar, I talked about a key skill that test leaders and managers need to have, which is the reporting of test results, effective reporting of test results. And estimating is another key skill. This happens at the beginning of the project rather than at the end of the project, but it's still as key. And just like reporting results, it's hard. Maybe not as hard as working in a Soviet-era steel mill, which is what these guys are doing here, but you can definitely work up a sweat while doing it. So I've struggled with this, and I know a lot of our clients have too. So in this presentation, we'll go through some of the fundamentals of test estimation and use a hypothetical case study to illustrate that. Lost my mouse. There we go. All right. So the basic question here is, how long will the testing take, right? And that's what we're trying to figure out. And related to that is, how much will it cost? Yeah. So both duration and ultimately cost will be estimation questions. So estimation, or what makes an estimate a good one? Well, one of the things we can say that doesn't make an estimate good is how people feel about it, right? Just because it makes people happy, like, oh, that's the answer I wanted to hear, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good estimate. An estimate is good when it predicts accurately what's going to happen. It's like a weather report, right? I mean, a weather report is not made good or bad by how you feel about the prediction about the weather. It's being good or bad by whether that's actually what happens, whether you can plan your life around the prediction of the weather. So this should be the same thing. We should have an accurate prediction and something that guides the project ultimately to success. So in order to do that, it would have to be a realistic estimate in the sense that it's not missing any tasks. And for every task that we've identified, which ultimately will be every task that we have to carry out, we have an accurate estimate of the effort and the duration. That we understand the risks that could cause some of the tasks to not be carried out in the time and resource that we estimate, and we're taking steps to mitigate those risks. A good estimate is also actionable in the sense that there's a clear assignment of duties. It's not just a list of tasks. The tasks have owners, and the owners have to carry those tasks out, and they are committed to carrying them out. So each person who's identified as a resource on the schedule actually feels a personal commitment to achieving the estimate. The other resources have been identified and assigned, and the dependencies that exist between the different tasks are known and are being managed. So that, to me, is what makes for a good estimate. Now, the process of estimation contains three main activities, and they're sort of mingled together. There's the talking to experts and the owners of the tasks about how long is this stuff going to take, right? There's a checking of the estimate with metrics and industry averages to try to make sure that, yeah, this is consistent with what we've observed before, consistent with what industry averages will tell us. And ultimately, there's always a negotiation piece. It's very rare that you just put together an estimate, budget and schedule, you go into management and go, this is what I want, give it to me. And say, oh yes, certainly. Whatever you would like, right? There's usually more of a negotiation process that goes on there. Ultimately, how much resource can we get? And expectation-wise, I think it's important going into this process that we understand what the expectations are going to be when that negotiation is happening. So there are four basic expectation categories that you can have, if you will, that exist amongst the managers and the stakeholders. And three of them are fine. Three of them you can work within, and then the fourth one is a problem. So the first expectation that might exist is people expect that you will cover the test basis completely. So if you're doing risk-based testing, you've done a risk analysis, you've identified your risk